All right, welcome back to the show. The Yankees sweep the Royals. Welcome to episode 541, where we'll be talking about this series. We did not do an episode. We didn't drop one for episode 40, or what would have been 541 against the Angels. We skipped that series because we hit rock bottom, and I didn't really want to. I had no energy, so a little better feeling coming off a sweep. Kansas City, whatever. You needed a win. So we'll talk about it here in episode 541 of the podcast. Welcome to BD4. Let's get to the intro. Welcome to BD4, an RJ Carbone podcast. BD4, where there is no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. BD4 is a 5-star show on Apple Podcasts, also available in video format on YouTube and Spotify. So thanks for stopping by, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Champion of the world, turning, looking, see ya! Anthony for three, bang! That one goes down, and the game is tied!
Penetrates, creates, and showing some dexterity as well with the left hand.
Yankees win!
All right, let's do it. Episode 541 of the podcast. The Yankees sweep the Royals at home. Before we get into the thick of things, some housekeeping stuff. I was going to say some homekeeping stuff. Some housekeeping stuff here in Yankees land. A lot of injuries going on. Guys returning, guys going down. Some guys in question. Jose Trevino, not in question. He is officially done for the 2023 season. Something tells me he's probably done as a New York Yankee. And for being honest, especially with the news that the Yankees are looking to upgrade at catcher. It's a wrist injury we're hearing that apparently he had in the spring. It's getting kind of annoying that we're getting these, like the whole I tried playing through it but couldn't thing. Like guys aren't saying shit. But whatever, Jose Trevino is good dude, fun story. He had a good season last year. Kind of tapered off at the end. But, he was a solid player. Calls a good game. But the guy can't hit. He can't hit. So you never want to see a guy go down with an injury, especially a good guy like him. But I'm not going to lie to you and say that I'm not excited to see what options are ahead now. Ben Rohrfed, my guy, finally recalled. He saw a little bit of time this series. Gleyber Torres went down with a hip injury in Sunday afternoon's game. He left the game early when Volpe pinch hit for him in what would have been, I think, his fourth at-bat of the game. I mentioned that because it's funny how, right after the game, Boone says in the press conference that he told Boone he felt much better after. It's like, how long could you have possibly had? But he didn't go for testing. It seems like he's going to be okay. But I would, if I'm going to guess about this Gleyber thing, I would say with the day off today, and as I am recording, it is Monday, June 24th. With the day off today and also a day off on Thursday, I would probably guess and say he'll probably sit out these two Subway Series games in the middle. Because, it'll give him 4 consecutive days only having missed 2 games. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying with the way the Yankees are very conservative and the way they, treat their injury, how they're very, very cautious with their guys, it's probably the way they're going to think about it and do it. But he could be out there tomorrow night on Tuesday. You never know. Aaron Judge, he hit in a live session against Johnny Loizaga this weekend. Other than that, I got nothing. There's still no timeline. If I were to guess, I would say sometime during that Tampa Bay series in the first few days of August. If not then, I would say I'm hoping he at least is back for the Houston series after that. But I'm going to guess and say he's back August 1st. Or maybe the day after the trade deadline on the 1st. Jonathan Loizaga. Again, he threw the live session to Aaron Judge. He is scheduled to throw in a simulated game soon. And then he'll start a rehab assignment next weekend, from what I heard. And then Nestor Cortez, lastly, he threw a rehab start this weekend. This past weekend, he's supposed to throw, I think, 3 of them, and then he can return, but he's not able to return until August 3rd because he's on the 60 day. So that'll be 60 by then. Promotions and demotions I also have here on my notes before we begin. Oswaldo Cabrera sent back down, and Franchi Cordero also sent back down because Jake Bauers is back, as we saw this weekend. And we also saw Greg Allen come off the disabled list, and he got some time this weekend. So they're up. Again, with the Trevino injury, Rorfed is up as well. So you got Rorfed, Oswaldo, and Rorfed, Bauers, and Allen as the 3 newest Yankees right now, back up with the team. And then there was also a report on Aaron Boone a couple days ago saying that it was a report on Boone by Andy Martino. So take it or leave it. But I actually do believe this because this organization has stooped to a pretty pathetic low point. In the report, I quote this, it says in the report, manager Aaron Boone's job is safe. Cashman still considers Boone an excellent manager and is said not to blame him for the team's recent struggles. It is extremely difficult to imagine the front office wanting to move on from Boone after the season, even if the Yankees fail to reach the postseason. That's kind of what scares me about the whole become sellers thing, is that it's all for nothing. Of course, you can reconstruct your roster that way, but what's the point if these fools are still running the organization? So I just wanted to bring that report up. Again, take it or leave it. Andy Martino is, a joke. But, yeah, I'm not shocked. On a positive, the Yankees are bringing in Andy Pettitte. They bring him in as a special advisor to Aaron Boone. I like it. I'm always about bringing in former Yankees to help out. Andy Pettitte is actually my favorite Yankee of all time. Love what he did with the Yankees. I have so many good memories watching Andy Pettitte. I still remember Andy Pettitte's final home game and final game as a Yankee. I think his final appearance as a Yankee was in a game against the Astros in Houston, where he used to play for a brief bit. And he threw a complete game. I think it was 9 innings, 3 runs that game, if I can remember correctly. And I was just thrilled to see that. It just perfectly depicted the way his career was. A grinder, and he was a guy who always went out there and gave you his best. But he was my favorite Yankee ever. He was a complete winner, postseason hero. So it's nice to see them bring him back. And it's just nice to see the Yankees slowly bringing the old school approach into the mix along with the analytical approach, right? Lawson's gone. A guy like Casey comes in here. He's a more hands-on guy. And now a guy like Andy Pettitte, who is the perfect, old school pitching guru you could have, comes into the mix. And it's odd, though, because Pettitte's, again, he's a special advisor to the manager. That's the title. So I don't know exactly what that means or how much he'll be around or if he's ever going to be in the dugout. That'd be cool to see him in uniform again in the dugout. But, yeah, I don't know. Because if I can remember correctly, I think Sabathia once had that title. A-Rod and I think Swisher may have had that special advisor role. But they were never around. We never heard from those guys. Some of them might still be that role, but we don't even hear about them because it's just like, on one hand, I want to believe there's a bit of a culture change, at least being attempted here. But I also don't want to get too far ahead because this could very easily be the Yankees doing the whole distraction thing again, like they did before the break with the Lawson firing, bringing in Casey, trying to appease the fans. And, David Cohn likes to use the term eyewash when a guy makes a nice play that he didn't have to die for or something. Throw a big name out there to satisfy the New York fan base. That's kind of what they're doing. I want to hear more on this. I wish there was more on this. I wish we had more information. I like it, but I don't know how much it's really going to affect and how much impact Andy Pettitte's going to have. It is funny, though, because, again, we keep firing and hiring guys everywhere but manager. I just think it says a whole lot. The fact that we have to do all this patchwork around the manager to help the Yankees succeed, I think that says something. But, maybe the Yankees don't see it. But the Yankees sweep the Royals, and we will talk about that. They take 3 out of 3 games against the Kansas City Royals. Terrible team. Just an abomination of a baseball team, right up there with Oakland, or right down there with Oakland. And with these 3 in a row, the Yankees move to 53 and 47. Still last place in the East because for now Boston keeps winning, though I do think at the end of the day, the Yankees will do no worse and maybe no better than 3rd place when it's all said and done. It's just hard to me envision them anywhere worse. Because Boston is a laughingstock, in my opinion. That pitching is so horrendous over there. It's not sustainable to only win with their bats. And I also don't take Toronto that serious. They just seem to be mediocre every year. But the problem is, can the Yankees really do anything better than 3rd place? We got to get there first, though, right? And what does this series mean? In short, not much right now. It's the Royals, again, right next to the Oakland A's as baseball's most abominable team. They're just so terrible at professional baseball. And some of these runs this series the Yankees got, some of the base runners, some of the outs that the pitching staff was gifted, is because Kansas City kicks and throws the ball all over the field. The Peraza play yesterday at first base ended up scoring 2. A good baseball team, it's no runs. One of Giancarlo Stanton's hits yesterday could have been an out. And a lot of outs on the other end were because the Royals were going up there, literally swinging at both balls and strikes like there was no difference. You had balls in play this series that were botched and extended innings. They just didn't play good baseball, the Royals, so it's hard to take a ton from it, but we'll see, right? Because at the end of the day, the Yankees just need wins, period. They don't need anything else but wins. Look at all the bad teams they've been facing this entire time without Aaron Judge. Colorado to start the break, the Angels after that. Didn't do squat there. So they desperately needed not just a win, but they needed a sweep very badly, and they got one. They needed it for confidence. They needed it for the standings. They got it. So we'll dive more into the specifics of what this all means and the outlook of their season going forward. But with that all said, let's get to our first break, come back, and we'll get right into these recaps as soon as we return from break. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on BD4.
We appreciate you sticking around and listening so far. When you have a chance, be sure to open YouTube to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you're already watching on YouTube, be sure to head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. We appreciate your feedback and are always looking to improve. Now, with that all said, let's get you back to the show.
All right, so welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. The first game of the set took place on Friday, where the Yankees won 5-4. There was Clark Schmidt going against Marsh. Bottom of the second inning, Franchi Cordero slaps a solo home run. Bottom of the fourth, or top of the fourth, I should say, Clark Schmidt gets into trouble, and he allows a 3-spot. Every single Yankees fan in the universe here thought the game was over. I don't care who you are with the way things were going. We thought this was over. The leadoff double to Garcia. Later, he hits Melendez with a pitch, and then he allows the 3-run home run to Massey in the very next at-bat. So I thought that was it. But the Yankees showed fight, and they answered back with 3 runs themselves in the bottom half of the inning. With 2 outs, you had LeMahieu walk, Volpe single, and then Billy McKinney goes deep with his own 3-run home run. The Yankees go up 4-3. Bottom of the 5th, the Yankees add 1 more when Gleyber Torres goes deep, and at that point, I had everything I needed to cash my parlay. I had the run line, I had a Gleyber hit, and I had the alternative over. However, Tommy Kahnle, with a 5-3 Yankee lead, comes in and he botches it. He messes everything up for me. It was a pretty good payout, but he did nothing but struggle as he's been lately. So he allows the run off the solo home run by Massey in the 8th inning. It was his second of the night, and the Yankees end up winning. They secured the win from there though, 5-4. Offensively, the Bats produced 5 runs on 5 hits, 3 home runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, and they hit 1 for 5 with runners in scoring position. There was no Harrison Bader in this game, but it was McKinney with the big night in his spot. 1 for 2 with a home run, walk, 3 RBIs, and also had the excellent play out in center field in the top of the 3rd. He made a sliding grab, and then he made the great play at the wall in the top of the 7th inning, I believe it was. Gleyber and Cordero again with the home runs, and you also had hits from Volpe and DJ. DJ was on twice. Volpe was hit by a pitch. Peraza was hit by a pitch. Peraza makes an excellent play at shortstop earlier in the game. I think in the 4th inning, he makes a diving catch on a line drive up the middle. And then Volpe actually makes a nice play to end the game that was eventually overturned in the Yankees' favor at third base. That was a good play there. Clark Schmidt, 5 2/3 innings, 3 runs, 5 hits, 4 extra base hits, 1 walk, a hit batter, 2 strikeouts, a home run, and the win. He wasn't great, but again, like lately, he was enough. Clark has now allowed 3 runs or less in 11 consecutive starts and in 13 of 14 starts since the beginning of May. So he continues to just be a very solid, decent number 5 who just continues to keep the Yankees in it all the time. You know, even at his worst of late, he's keeping them in the game. And that's what you want from a number 5. The Royals were just swinging at everything he threw. Again, there were a ton of sub-10 pitch innings from Clark Schmidt, which leads me to the question, did Aaron Boone pull him too early? I mean, short answer, probably. Yeah. He had 64 pitches. There were 2 outs in the 6th inning, so you wanted him to get that 6th for the quality start. He was throwing 70% strikes. It also, if you let him go 6, it would have been the first time all year he would have gone 6 in back-to-back. But probably pulled him early, but was it the worst move in the world? No, because it is Clark Schmidt. The Yankees are desperate for wins. We do know about the 3rd time through later in games with Schmidt. Gets fatigue. The lineups get used to him. The lefties start hitting him. He did start putting some runners on. You had the leadoff single and later double in the 5th inning. You had another double in the 6th inning, and then the 5-pitch walk to the number 6 hitter. So considering that it was a tight 2-run game, you had a lefty coming up. So considering the era we're in, the numbers game matchups, etc., I get it. You need a win, and at the end of the day, Peralta comes in for the lefty on lefty, and he gets the job done. Peralta was clean outside of a hit for 2/3 of an inning. Michael King, same exact thing, records a strikeout in 2/3. Kahnle, we mentioned, gives up the solo bomb, and then Clay Holmes closes it out in the 9th after surrendering the leadoff base hit. And that was the first game of the series for you, where the Yankees once again took it 5-4. Let's get to the second game of the series. In this one, they won 5-2. You had Gerrit Cole going up against Singer. Top of the first, Cole strikes out 2 in a 1-2-3 inning. Bottom of the first, the Yankees score a run for the early 1-0 lead. They put the first 2 guys on with a McKinney walk, plus a hard base hit from Gleyber Torres to third base. You had the Anthony Rizzo double play ball. But then Stanton came through with 2 outs on a hard ground ball single past Bobby Witt at shortstop. Top of the third, Cole allows his trademark solo bomb to begin the inning. The number 7 hitter took him deep off a hanging curveball, Nick Prado. Bottom of the third, the Yankees get it back, though, and they go up 2-1 with the Volpe trifecta. He gets the leadoff double to right field, steals third base, and then he ends up scoring on the Gleyber Torres sac fly. Awesome stuff. That's why it's so important that Volpe gets on base. Top of the fifth, the Royals tie the game. Gerrit Cole gets into trouble. He puts the first 2 on with a base hit and a walk. A wild pitch makes it first and third with nobody out. He almost gets out of it. He strikes out the number 8 and 9 hitters with 99 on the black and 99 upstairs. But then he surrenders a base hit to the leadoff man, who ties the game at 2. He does limit the damage from there. He has a bounce back 6th inning. And then the bottom of the 6th, the Yankees had an opportunity, but they flopped. McKinney singled. Rizzo singled on the hit and run to put runners on the corners with 1 out. But then you get Stanton striking out on a foul tip. Then Cordero pops it up to center. Cole ends up going out into the 7th. It's Peralta, Canely, and Holmes from there. And then the Yankees take the lead in the bottom of the 7th when DJ goes the opposite way for the big solo bomb. In the 8th inning, they cap it off with 2 more additional runs. McKinney, the leadoff walk. He's still second on the Gleyber strikeout. Rizzo grounds him over to third base. And then after a pitching change, the Royals bring in some guy Coleman to groove Stanton an 0-2 cement mixer, in which he crushes 400-plus feet to left field. And top of the 9th comes. It gets a little annoying. Holmes gets 2 quick outs, but then he puts 2 runners on. The home plate umpire was kind of squeezing him. But then he gets the number 8 hitter to go down on 3 strikes, and the Yankees win. 5 runs offensively, 8 hits, 3 extra base hits, couple walks, 11 strikeouts, 2 for 8 in scoring position. Billy McKinney, another big day at the plate. He was on base 3 times, 2 hits from Stanton, home run, 3 RBIs, and his 6th home run in 10 games at the time. DJ a home run, Volpe the double plus his 17th stolen base. Bader a pinch hit single, and Rizzo broke his 0-for-20 skid. Gerrit Cole, 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, a walk, 2 runs, 10 Ks. Put 2 runs in there twice. A home run and a no decision. He was good. We'll talk more on Cole later because we're handing him an award. In the bullpen, Peralta, 2/3 of an inning again, no runs. Canely, a nice bounce back with a clean inning, and then Holmes the save. And that was really it for the second game of the series. I'm going to just take a sip of my drink. Dunkin' Donuts. Large iced coffee with cream and sugar. I'm usually a black coffee guy, but when you get iced coffee, black coffee doesn't exactly hit the same. So when I get iced coffee, I like to do it with the cream and sugar. Yeah, that was it for the second game of the set. The highlights are on the screen. If you're watching the YouTube edit, we kind of forgot to play them during the recap, but there you go on the screen. Gleyber Torres, the sac fly. Volpe scores, and you get Cole. Oh, that was a cool throwout, too, by the way, in the 4th inning. Cole has that casual gun down to second base. The runner advances while they're trying to figure out if the ball is fair or foul, and Cole just casually guns him down at second. Bobby Witt. But yeah, that's it for the second game of the series. Let's get to game 3. 8-5 yesterday. Severino versus Lyles. I missed this game. I was at the shore. I was down the beach for the weekend, and this was the one game I missed because it was a day game and I was at the beach. But I did see the recap. Bottom of the 1st inning, the Yankees do what I love, and they put runs on the board right away. Gleyber homers from the 2-hole. which I like him in that 2-hole, by the way. Rizzo doubles to plate Stanton. Stanton coming around the bases like Forrest Gump with the braces on. Christ. Bader singles to score Rizzo, and it's 4-0 Yankees already. Bottom 3, Rizzo finally snaps the, I think, 45-game homerless skid, taking a hanging two-seamer on the 8th pitch of the at-bat, and he goes to right center, and it's 5-0 Yankees. Got a little too close for comfort as Severino started giving up bombs like he does. Top of the 4th, Sal Perez takes him deep. And then that guy, Massey, I don't even know how to pronounce his name. I should at this point. Hits his 3rd homer of the series. Sevy leaves the game after 5 2/3. And all of a sudden, it's 5-3 Yankees. Bader makes a nice play near the wall in the 7th inning, I heard. Saw the highlight. The Yankees do get some much-needed insurance in the 8th inning, though, by simply putting the ball into play. Playing a little small ball in the 8th inning on Sunday. Bader lays down the bunt to kind of start things up. And then later, Peraza just gets the end of the bat on the ball with the ground ball to first base. The Royals get very sloppy in the infield. It ends up scoring 2. This is why I always emphasize contact, because you want to make bad teams play defense. Put pressure on the infield, and this kind of stuff happens. And then after that, you get the Higashioka sacrifice fly, which scores Billy McKinney, and all of a sudden it's 8-3 Yankees. They have some breathing room. The Royals do score 2 on Ron Marinaccio, who closed it out on the 9th. He gave up a pair of bombs. Yankees gave up 4 home runs in this game. Christ. And Marinaccio has been a problem. But the bats were enough, and that's why they got the win, and they pick up the sweep after an 8-5 victory. 8 runs on 11 hits, 6 strikeouts. That was nice. Rizzo 4 for 4, 2 RBIs, a double, a home run. Nice to see him snap out of it. Hopefully that gets him going. He broke the 0 for hit skid on Saturday, and on Sunday breaks the 45-game homer skid. Stanton 2 hits. Every Yankee starter in this game either got on base or produced an RBI or both. And again, it was nice to see them produce 8 runs, only striking out 6 times. A rarity you see the Yankees strike out less than they have runs. Severino, 5 2/3 innings, 3 runs, 8 hits, 4 extra base hits, no walks, 5 strikeouts in the win. He was looking good, but that final pitch kind of ruined his outing. You know, you could also say that that if Jake Bauers, my God, if he makes that play, because we got infielders playing outfield still. If he makes that play, it doesn't happen, the home run. But still, yeah, it's still more the same with Sevy, man. Like, I'm not really that encouraged, even with his last 2 outings being better. There's still a lot of hard contact. There's still a ton of fucking hits, a ton of extra base hits, a lot of traffic on the base. It just seems like he's having a difficult time dominating, and he has to labor far more often than not. The body language doesn't seem to be great. And that's not the Severino that Yankees fans are used to seeing when he was healthy these last number of years, when he was healthy. So I'm not too encouraged. I could say I want to see more, but like at this point, I still stand by my opinion where I think Severino is better out of the rotation and in the bullpen. And at the end of the year, I still want him gone, which will happen. He's not coming back, but yeah, I'm still. It didn't do much for me. The bullpen: Hamilton, King, and Marinaccio. Hamilton was exceptional. Michael King got the job done despite some traffic on the base, and then Marinaccio just continues to struggle. He hasn't been good this year. We mentioned that, and those are all 3 games of this series. Yeah, as we kind of ran through at the top of the episode, has this series changed the outlook on the season? I don't. It shouldn't, if you ask me. I still wish the Yankees be sellers. I think you retool. But realistically, I think the way they see it, Judge is in his 30s and just got his big contract. Cole is on a large contract. Stanton is in the midst of his final peak years. They see this window open right now, trying to capitalize on these guys' best years. And so they're probably going to buy. And I can ride with that. And if it doesn't work, you rebuild a lot of this roster in the offseason. But if they are going this route and they plan on buying, then they need to buy big. I'm not talking about Soto Ohtani because that's never going to happen. This is not what the Yankees do anymore. I'm saying make that move for Bellinger. That has to be the guarantee. That has to be the move you make. If you make one move, it has to be for a Cody Bellinger. If you want to upgrade at catcher, I guess, but I still prefer making a move at third base and grabbing a Heimer Candelario. You got the Salvador Perez rumors after this series, and I get it. He's still productive with the bat. He works well with his pitching staff. He's a good defensive catcher, a veteran, all that stuff. But I kind of look at it, and I don't want him blocking Austin Wells because he's tied to a heavy AAV the next few seasons. I think Sal Perez has like over $20 million and going up for the next at least 3 seasons. I don't think I think there's a club option either in 26 and then he becomes a UFA in 27. So I don't want him blocking Austin Wells because there's a chance that Austin Wells could become the Yankee starting catcher at some point next season. And I'm just kind of tired of old men on this team. I want less older players. And we also don't need another right-handed bat. And it's kind of risky to just do a 180 switch up at a very important position because you don't want to mess with the chemistry of the pitching staff all of a sudden in August. So if we're talking upgrades at catcher, I would prefer that come in-house and letting a guy like Ben Rorfed, a lefty, see more time. I like Rorfed's upside. We talk about that a lot on the show, sometimes too much. And again, it keeps that avenue open for Austin Wells in the very near future. So, I say save your prospects for another day. Grabbing at least 2 impact bats for the middle of the order still is a must, though. Like, I don't think you could just do... like. If you really want me to get more confident, at least 2 would help my confidence. 2 impact bats, and then adding a reliever. Because this bullpen is really starting to hit a rough patch as well. And they're hitting some fatigue. Which is funny because all year I've been, not all year, but I've said a few times already, the fatigue thing is overplayed. And to a degree, I still think at the end of the day the bullpen will be fine. But you're starting to see some rough patches. But I do, big deadline or not, in order for the Yankees to be taken serious as contenders again this year, guys need to start hitting. 1 second. Sorry, I just had to fix something on the screen. If I want this team to really be taken somewhat serious, guys that are already here have to start hitting. And lately they have, but I mean extended stretches. Rizzo and Stanton specifically need to get the fuck going. And I don't know if I have total confidence that they will, like I used to just a few months ago. They need Aaron Judge back and healthy for the final 2 months of the season. That would do wonders for my confidence and anybody else. And I think they need to add those 2, at least 2 impact bats by next week. Bellinger must be in pinstripes. A guy like Candelario should be a Yankee at third base. Those guys, that's my ideal trade deadline. They need to be here, and at worst, they need to be serviceable additions. Because we're still talking about this organization's goal at the beginning of every season. Their mantra is World Series or bust. Let's remember who this is. How much they spend every year. Where they've been in recent years. Always competing at the very worst. what the expectations are, right? This is still World Series or bust. That's the mantra that the Yankees have. So the expectation is going to be you put a team together that's good enough to at least compete for one. So like some people say they understand the term World Series or bust, and then they get mad when fans are all upset at the Yankees. But I'm going on a tangent here, but like that term literally says it all in those 4 words right there. World Series or bust. It means all results outside of a championship are the same thing. Missing the playoffs or losing round 3. It's all the same at the end of the day. If that is your mantra, your goal. You don't get anything extra for going a round or 2 further. It feels better? Is that your drive home point? Getting into the ALCS feels better than losing the wild card game? At that point, it becomes a moot point. Failing is failing to me. It's A and Z. There's no in between to me. So I think with upgrades like that, it could make the Yankees better. How much better? That's where I still stand trying to figure out what's up. I need more than just a Kansas City Royals sweep to turn me around. I need to see how we look against Baltimore. And Baltimore's coming up after this Mets series. Because the Baltimore series will be the last full series the Yankees have before the deadline. And that's the team we're ultimately trying to catch. Supposed to be trying to catch. I don't think the division's in line, but at second place should still be something we need to aim for right now. And I just... Let's see, we have 2 against the Mets, 3 against the O's, and then by August 1st, I think there's 1 game. So these next 2 series, I want 4-1. If they go 4-1, I'll be excited and I'll have some faith. 4-1 and Boston plus Toronto maybe start losing a little more. We need to get back into this race. This last place shit is gross. Because before this sweep against the 28-73 Kansas City Royals, most of us, if not all, were saying the same shit about needing to sell and how Cody Bellinger won't do jack for them. So, ask me how I feel about this Yankees team after Baltimore, and I will discuss whether or not I think they have a fighter's chance to be legitimate contenders this year. I will say my big fear is that Cashman grabs a bunch of random journeymen, like a Randall Grichuk or Dylan Carson or some shit. That is the last thing they need. None of those guys are helping. Gross, yuck, no thank you. So I still believe in the floor and ceiling thing. It's not crazy if the Yankees bottom out and become this 85-win team who barely makes the playoffs or makes the playoffs. And it's also not crazy if they find a way to win 90-something games, low 90s, sneak into a wild card, and have themselves a good run. I still think there's a chance. Now, I said last episode that I was leaning towards the floor. More middle now, but I'm really not moving anywhere close to my right. But if you want to finish on a positive note, there are guys who are hitting a little bit. This lineup's produced a lot of runs this series. I don't know if I have the graphic ready. Let me see if I have it ready. Well, I don't have my face in here, but I do have the graphic up on the screen. 18 runs this series. 24 hits. 10 extra base hits. 267 average this series. 8 walks, 23 Ks, 238 in scoring position. So, it's the Royals. Guys are hitting beyond just the Royals. Guys like Labor have been hitting for a bit. Stanton has been producing more for a bit. LeMahieu's been hitting since the break. Rizzo looks alive again. That's a good thing. And we got to see more because his was just the last couple of games. But he went from, June 13th up until yesterday, July 24th, 3rd, without a home run. And he had an OPS below 460 since June 7th, entering yesterday. So, he looked really bad. And last couple nights, you're seeing him take that upstairs pitch for a few hits. Those are usually pitches he struggles with. He tried the whole, no batting glove thing. He changed his walk-up song yesterday. Shook up the stance a little, the crouch, the hands. He's 5 for 8 the last 2 nights. That's 625. Small sample, but the Yankees need Anthony Rizzo badly. He is their 3-hole hitter that they just gave a new contract to. He's their lefty slugger. They need him hitting again. You can make a case and say he's the X factor. Gleyber keeps hitting. He's on a 13-game hit streak. Batting .377 during that span, .971 OPS, 4 extra base hits, couple of walks, 7 RBIs. The numbers on the season for Gleyber are creeping closer to real solid. The average is close to 270. The OPS is moving closer to 800. That'd be really nice for him to get to that. If the Yankees do magically sell, it's a great time for their number 1 trade chip to get hot. Like, this is a perfect time. But I don't see that happening, unfortunately. Stanton, again, he's producing. Not fully hot. He's still struggling with consistency. The average is still low. The on-base numbers are still low. His slugging is still low. OPS, but the run production has been there. An .867 OPS in the last 22 games. 7 homers, 20 RBIs in that span. 11 walks. It's also worth noting, that Stanton has cut down his K rate significantly this season. He was at 30% last year. This year he sits, fucking got my keyboard wet and now it's all flipping out on me. 30% K rate last year for Stanton. This year he sits at 24%. Closer to league average. That's almost league average. It's a big reduction. I don't know if he did something, but the Yankees need him and Rizzo to hit badly. And Sean Casey also has him kind of tweaking with his batting stance. Him and Rizzo, you could see if you go back this series compared to, entering the series, a couple of bats in maybe the Angels series or something. They're crouching more in their stances, trying to get their eye level closer to the plate, closer to the baseball. I picked that up from somebody on Twitter who's got his own podcast, NYY-Recaps. He's got a big show. So shout out to that guy. Although you don't need me shouting you out. DJ LeMahieu's hitting a little bit. I think he's over 340 or something since the All-Star break. You're just getting a lot more line drives from him, a lot more DJ-like hits and hard contact off his bat, and he's going the other way some more. I don't think it means anything other than he's found a hot streak like every hitter does. Just happenstance. I don't think he's fixed or something. I think he's just old and a blind squirrel finds a nut. Maybe he found something. Maybe Sean Casey found something, But I think it's more likely he just found a nice little streak against Colorado pitching, Los Angeles Angels pitching, and Kansas City Royals pitching. But if he can find a way to be decent the rest of the way, you take it. Because you need anything you can get from him at this point. Billy McKinney is hitting, and I'm actually going to be tipping my cap to Billy McKinney this series. He gets our first tip of the cap. Yeah, Billy McKinney. 2 hits in 6 at-bats, .333. But he also had a .636 on base percentage. In this series alone, he had 5 walks, 2 hits, and 11 plate appearances. It's nice to see, The bat has been there, and the defense this series, especially in center field, was excellent. He had a very down stretch for a while there, late June and most of July, and I expect him to have, 2 or 3 more of those cold spells because this is who he is. He's a replacement hitter who's not that talented, but he's on one right now, so we'll give him credit. He was good when they first brought him in, and now he's finding a hot streak again. So good for Billy McKinney, and that's his, if I'm correct, that's his 3rd time this year where we're tipping our caps to him. It's the third time. We'll tip our hat to Gerrit Cole. Let's do that. Let's go to the starting rotation and tip our hats to Gerrit Cole. Gerrit Cole, 6 in the third innings, 2 runs, 10 hits, 10 Ks, 1 walk, 5 hits, a home run, 4 singles, 99 pitches, 66 strikes, and unfortunately got the no decision in Game 2 against the Royals. Yeah, he was fine. He was good. Again, the Royals just up there swinging at anything near the edges. I do wish Cole had more dominant 7-inning plus starts. A lot of it is because the guy throws so many damn pitches. He works around the zone a lot with the off speed. But on days like Saturday, it's kind of also on Boone. Let the guy go. He had 99 pitches, and he records 1 out in the 7th inning before he's pulled for Peralta. It's just very annoying because it's constant. It's Gerrit Cole. He's capable of getting lefties or righties out. And he's capable of throwing 110, 115 pitches if he needs to. And getting through 2 batters in the 7th inning, or at least getting the opportunity to do that. His pitches look good too. His fastball was there. The changeup had a lot of movement. The slider had some bite. But at the end of the day, Cole keeps doing his thing, and he's consistently been very solid for a while now. In 9 starts since June, 8 of them have been quality starts. And I believe 15 of his 22 starts on the year have been quality starts. So, good to see that. And then we'll go to the bullpen and wrap it up with Clay Holmes getting the award. I'm tipping my cap to Clay Holmes. 2 innings this series, 2 strikeouts, a walk, 2 hits, 2 singles. They were 44 pitches, 28 were strikes, and 2 saves. He continues to be really good. One of the Yankees' better relievers this year. So, good for Clay Holmes. We'll wrap it up when we return from break with our trivia.
You can also find us on social media. If you'd like, you can follow BD4 on Facebook, and we're at BD4Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. We appreciate you helping us grow more and more every day. Let's get back to it. If you have time in the day or maybe just prefer old-fashioned reading over listening, then you can always follow along and subscribe to BD4 Blog by going to BD4blog.com. We're not on there as often, but when we do post, it's just as entertaining, opinionated, and passionate as we are on this podcast. Thank you so much. And let's keep on with the show. Studio 69 Productions is a production company that allows content creators of all genres to market their podcast or whatever project they're working on. It's an online platform that will promote your content no problem. All you have to do is get in touch with film director and podcast producer Leo Rodriguez from Say No More Podcast, and you're good to go. You can find him on Instagram at Studio 69NJ, Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born.
All right, welcome back to the show. Let's wrap this up with our trivia. All right, so in this episode 541, our NYY-NYK-MMA trivia question of the day is, on September 12th, 2006, which lefty Yankee slugger drove in 7 runs in 3 at-bats against the Tampa Bay Rays? On September 12th, 2006, which lefty Yankee slugger drove in 7 runs and 3 at-bats against Tampa Bay? Let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. If you get the answer correct, I'll give you a shout-out in the next episode. That's it. That is it. The Yankees sweep. We'll see what happens going forward. Should be an interesting next week or so to see how they do in these next couple series and then to see what they do next Tuesday on August 1st. All right. Thanks for tuning in. That's it. Later. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks!